Greetings from Podcastville. The Church of What's Happening Now is brought to you by Policy Genius. In minutes, you can compare quotes from top insurers so you can get the right amount of coverage at the best possible price. That's policygenius.com. The church is also brought to you by On It. You motherfuckers watch my Twitter. You see I refueled with some Alpha Brain and some Shroom Tech. I'm ready to fucking rock, baby. It's going to be a tremendous fall. But hey, go to onit.com right now. Look at the great supplements they have to offer, from Shroom Tech Sport, Shroom Tech Immune, the coconut almond choco bars, the 7 grams of protein each. You fucking eat them on the run, no drama. Onit has it all. Go to onit.com right now and press in.
Church.
Bam! And get 10% off your first order delivered right to your fucking crib like a doctor. You understand me? And Alpha Brain is backed 100% money back guarantee, and they don't even want the fucking product back. Who else does that? Nobody. So go to onit.com right now. Lee, kick this motherfucking mule. Miss James.
Hello.
A pleasure to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. A world-renowned violinist. When does any fucking podcast have a chance? And good looks to boot. Because usually those violinists are kind of fucked up looking. They got big eyes and shit. They're all warped and shit. But you got all the goods. What's happening?
Oh, I'm just been gigging in LA. Just got back from touring with Burt Bacharach.
Oh, no. You have a resume at that, but we'll get to that later. Are you originally from Southern California?
No, I was born in England, actually.
England. Mm-hmm. And where's the accent?
I went away. I moved to the U.S. when I was really young.
How old were you when you moved to the U.S.?
Pretty young. About a year old.
Okay.
So.
And where'd you relocate to?
Philadelphia.
No shit. Mm-hmm. Stayed in Philly for a while?
For a while, and then my dad, he's a doctor, and he got a job in Oklahoma, so we moved there.
When did you pick up the violin?
When I was 4.
It's funny because I got interested in your videos, and all of a sudden we started talking on Twitter, speaking on Twitter, and my daughter went to kindergarten last year, and they signed her up. She picked the violin for some reason.
That's great.
So they were like little cardboard violins.
Yeah,
and shit.
That's awesome.
And she loved it. You know, I was going to have you over to come over one day and eat with us. And
I totally would do that.
Play the violin for her and blow her fucking mind. But at the recital, the violin teacher got on her last nerve, right?
Oh, no.
Because, you know, you went there like, it's a fucking 8:30 recital, right? So parents got to leave. You know, like people got to move in this town by 10.
8:30 in the morning.
8:30 in the morning. So we go at 8:30 in the morning. You know, I'm all in. I go to bed early. I get up and she puts on a pretty dress. And she's waiting to fucking play the violin with 80 other savages. And the violin teacher's like, well, hold on. First, me and my husband have to do a duet from my new album. I mean, you know. So she used the kids to promote her own bullshit.
Oh, my God.
And it was the worst music in the world. The husband looked like a fucking cat that she just drug in. She looked like a bomb hitter.
Oh, no.
And they're up there in the morning, and everybody was looking at each other like so fucking uncomfortable. We came here to see our kids play, and this dirty bitch is taking up their time.
Auditioning in front of you.
And then the kids did like 4 minutes, and that was it. And Mercy was like, fuck that bitch. Like in the car that night, she's like, I don't like her no more. She goes, she's a hog. She's a stage hog. She lured us down there to get an audience
for an album
so she could
release.
do a fucking 20-minute fucking jam at 8:30 in the morning. I got no reefer in me. I'm trying to be a decent dad.
Oh my God.
At least fill me up with some reefer if you're gonna let me know this fucking lady's gonna play the violin. So I don't know if she's signing up for it this year. I think that was a little too traumatic for her. But so you picked up the violin at 4.
Yeah.
When did you become serious about it?
I think I've always been serious about it. I was actually I remember watching Sesame Street and seeing Itzhak Perlman on the episode and saying, Mommy, I want to do that. And I just walked around the house and pretended I was playing. And my parents were like, we should get her one of those. So, and my parents never had to make me practice. I always wanted to play. So.
What were you doing at 12, 13?
12, 13, I was playing in a college orchestra in Oklahoma. And I was part of a touring group called the Ottawa Suzuki Strings. And we went all over the world and we were ambassadors for the U.S. And we played different schools, you know, for other kids kind of like a sister school program thing. And it was a lot of fun. I got to travel, and I think that's where I got the travel bug. I was like, my first tour was when I was 11. I was like, all right, this is it. I'm done. I'm going on the road.
Were your parents on the tour with you?
No, actually.
They sent you away like one of Michael Jackson's kids? Like, just take her with you. Fuck it. Don't worry about nothing.
It's funny now because my mom, she said to me the other day, she was like, I don't know what I was thinking. Like, I let my 11-year-old go to England by herself. But I was with other kids.
How long were you away for?
Like a month on tour, and then I have relatives there, so.
And then how was your high school?
High school, I actually didn't go to conventional school. I was part of a educational co-op, and it was kind of set up like a college where you pick your classes and you go to school only on the days that you have classes, and then you have a tutor that you can contact, and you have to be pretty self-sufficient.
But you didn't go to like a musical high school.
No.
They didn't.
They didn't really have one where I was.
No
so,
shit.
Yeah, so that's why I was in the college orchestra.
And then where'd you go to college at?
I went to Azusa Pacific out here.
Okay, and that's where you tuned your shit up.
Yeah.
To meet a lot of contacts.
Yeah.
Were you doing that in high school to focus on music on the other days?
I was in, because I was doing college music classes. So I would do my high school, math and science and all that stuff. And then the college music classes were on other days. But I actually moved to California when I was 15 and a half and was a nanny for my violin teacher.
Wow.
So I finished high school out here.
Now, one thing I dig about you is that you just don't play classical stuff.
Right.
Like your genre is hip hop.
Everywhere.
You have a really good jazz bass. I was looking at some of your videos, like you do jazz. I read something about you. You like hip hop.
Yeah.
It's so weird, like a guy like me. An art's an art. Mm-hmm. The reason why I have you on the show today is to prove to people that artists appreciate each other, and who would have thought that, you were attractive, and I looked at you, I watched you play the violin, but then the more I watched you, I fell in love with you playing. I'm like, I wonder what her fucking path was like. As a comic, our path is dark, fucking ballrooms and bars and people throwing shit at you and hitting people in the head with microphones and shit. What was it like for you,
for me, journey? Yeah, for me, the journey, I mean, if my mom listens to this, Mom, I snuck out of the house and played with bands when I was 13. I used to climb out the window, and I played with this college band, and they would sneak me into the club in the bass drum case because I was, I couldn't walk through the front door. So I would curl up in a ball in the bass drum case, and they'd carry me in, and I'd play with the band, and then they'd kick me out of the bar. And so I always have loved music from every genre. So any chance I got, I was jamming with anyone who wanted to play. And I used to practice on my front porch, just to entertain my neighbors. So
when I was a kid, what's his name came out with The Devil Came Out of Georgia.
Oh yeah,
and
Charlie
that
Daniels
blew up the violin in our, we respected it as 13-year-olds. Like, we don't like that. Whoa.
Yeah, whoa,
and then
that's
he's
cool.
fucking, just The Devil Went Down to Georgia and all this shit. Today we don't have that.
Yeah.
Nobody has introduced, to me, I learned everything early on. I grew up in Manhattan. So our grammar schools would take us to Lincoln Center to watch those dudes play all that shit. And we would sit there what the fuck are we watching? But after a while, even a knucklehead like me saw that there was a certain type of beauty behind it. Whenever I go to Detroit, I get in the car and I go to the outside of Detroit. This is one bar. I can't remember the name of it now. Monday nights, the fucking blues. Just, 6 guys. I know in Burbank here on Monday nights, they get together at some bar. A friend of mine, Lenny Citrano, a bunch, he's fucking the guy from ZZ Top showed up last Monday.
Yeah.
I love all that shit. That's what I live for. I love for just people popping in and, you know, you popping in with fucking Slash. You know, like how would that be?
Yeah.
And when did you go professional?
Well, I joined the union when I was 14.
What unit is
So
that?
it was AFM.
Okay.
Yeah, American Federation of Musicians. Because I was a sub for the Oklahoma Symphonia, and so and Tulsa Philharmonic, and I was playing with them. So I guess that was, you know, I thought, oh, I'm a professional now. You know, I'm getting paid, so there we go. You know.
Were you the youngest person in the orchestra?
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
So it is amazing, and it's not amazing. It's a lot of pressure when you're really young and you're around all these people who,
egos, big egos.
Yeah.
My wife worked at the LA Phil.
Oh, cool.
She did the accounting for the Hollywood Bowl and stuff. So, you know, I would always hear the stories of the fucking dude with the stick. What's his name?
The conductor.
The conductor, yeah.
And the fucking whole thing, and the egos, and the and you could tell that it's from an ego-based society type of sort. So I can't even imagine how some of the men looked at you or some of the women looked at you.
Yeah, it's tough because, you know, it takes so long to get to that point where you are in an orchestra that's as good as Hollywood Bowl. You know, you have to work so hard for your whole life and beat out so many people. You know, you can have, if there's a chair open in LA Phil, you can have 1,000 people trying to get one chair. And there's a joke that people say that, you know, in order to get into LA Phil, somebody has to die. Because nobody's going to give up their seat in LA Phil or any big philharmonic like that. So they literally will have that chair until they die.
Would someone like you be attracted to that notion of working for the LA Phil?
I mean, it would be an honor to play in LA Phil. I think I used to want to be just that classical player. But as I got older, and I really love traveling and playing just different kinds of music, you know, just like playing with Burt and then going to a bar and playing the blues and then playing Dvorak, American String Quartet. You know, I like the variety of it. And I like being in smaller groups, I think. Although there's absolutely nothing that compares with like playing Beethoven's Ninth with a symphony. Like being in the middle of everyone creating that sound and that feeling. I mean,
that one now. Oh, that's beautiful to watch.
There's nothing like it.
Now, the LA Phil, do they play year round?
They have a season. So it's LA Phil is, I believe, October through June.
Okay.
And then it overlaps a little bit with Hollywood Bowl. A lot of the LA Phil people also play in Hollywood Bowl. But yeah, they take the summer off pretty much.
Now, what were your 20s like doing this stuff?
I mean, lots of different bands, you know.
I mean, I was looking at names. Some I recognized, some I didn't. But I seen like Evelyn Champagne King.
Yeah.
Like, what did you do for her?
Oh, so that's a funny story, actually.
Burning, keep my whole body yearning. That one, did you play the violin to that?
Yeah, we did, actually.
No, you didn't.
Yes. I got this gig, and you know, I'm freelance, so a lot of people, they'll call you and be like, hey, so we're doing this benefit or this party. Are you available? And like most times, you know, sometimes you've never played with the band before, and they just give you charts and you go. This one was a benefit for like Children's Hospital in San Diego, and it was a 70s themed benefit. And they said, oh, we're going to play the music of Evelyn Champagne King, Gloria Gaynor, you know, and Anita Ward. And then thinking it was a cover gig, I show up and we're all in costumes and it's super fun. And then the real artist walked in the room. I had no idea. It was the craziest thing. And I'm like,
so how did you do Ring My Bell?
We did, it was a huge band. We had keys and drums and we had synth strings, but I was the only actual real violinist on the gig. And so thinking before, oh, it's a cover gig, you know, they gave me the charts, but then once the real artist walked in, I was like, oh my God, I have to go practice right now. You know, like, but they were super nice. Everyone was really gracious. I think Shaka Khan was there too.
Khan.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And so you accompanied them with the violin to all those disco hits.
Yep.
That must give it a tremendous different sound.
Oh, it does. I mean, disco music is built on the strings. Disco strings are amazing. So
it's crazy.
Yeah.
The other night I was watching Saturday Night Live was on. I was getting ready to go to the Comedy Store, and I caught like the last 30 minutes. You're a bum. You're never going to be somebody. And he's like, fuck you, I could dance. And he goes down there and, you know, he's doing that whole fucking thing. And I still remember walking to the movie theater to see that and walking home going, holy fuck.
yeah.
That's crazy. I got to start wearing shoes and heels. But now, how did you hook up with Burt Bacharach and Paul Anka? Who was first?
Burt was first.
Burt was first.
Yeah.
How old is Burt now?
He is 91.
God bless that motherfucker.
Yeah. He is amazing.
And how old is Paul Anka?
He just turned 78.
How good does he look?
Oh my God. He looks amazing.
Now, what's really crazy about what we're about to discuss is that pretty much I got to assume that maybe 30% of the people who listen to this podcast because of their age,
Yeah.
not because of any, do not know who Burt Bacharach and Paul Anka are. Who did you make contact with first?
I was actually contacted. I went to a show of Burt's, and I met his music director, and he introduced me to him, and, you know, just introduced me to the band. We're just hanging out. I was doing a recording project for the music director, and then I went to a couple more shows, and then I got a call, and it was Burt, and he said, hey, so I'm down at the studio on Sunset, and I have this violin part, you know, can you come down and listen to it? And I was like, what? Okay, sure. So I went down to the studio and listened to the violin part. It was off the album, Who Are These People? I believe is the name of the album. It was a instrumental, won a Grammy for Best Instrumental. But I had never heard it before, and he played it for me, and I was like, wow, that's a beautiful violin solo, of course. And he said, yeah, so you're free in October? You want to do Vegas? And that was it.
And for people who don't know, I mean, Burt Bacharach has won Academy Awards, Grammys. I mean, his resume, you know, this is 60 years in the business, maybe 70.
Yeah.
Yes, maybe 70. If he's 91, you got to assume he's like you. He's been doing this since he was 15 or fucking 12 or something.
Yeah.
And that's just, he's written music for fucking everybody.
For everyone.
For everybody.
Yeah.
Like, he's written for over 1,000 fucking musicians. Over 1,000 have trusted him, Burt Bacharach. That's how strong he is.
Yeah.
Now then, how did you meet Paul Anka? How long were you working for Burt before you met Paul?
So I've been in Burt's band for 16 years.
No shit.
Yeah. Saying that out loud is like so long. Oh my gosh.
Shit.
Yeah. 16 years.
So you've been with Burt for 16. Now, how does Paul fit into the equation?
I have been in Paul's band for 6.5 years now. So I just got a call. His music director, I was recommended to him, and they were doing some kind of beta testing for a hologram, and he needed another violinist. So he said, hey, can you come, you know, and we basically played My Way for 2 days straight in a pit while they like beta tested this hologram. I never even saw it. I think it was a Frank Sinatra hologram. And then, so I did that and only played one song, but the band was so cool. Everybody in the group was great. And then like a couple days later, they were like, you want to go to Singapore for New Year's? And then that was it, you know?
So here you are. You're in Burt's band for 10 years.
16 years. 10 years, yeah.
10 at the time. Mm-hmm. And now Paul Anka is calling you up.
Yeah.
Describe to the audience who the fuck Paul Anka is.
Paul Anka is one of the earliest real pop stars.
14.
14, yeah.
Canada.
In Canada, yeah. He started writing, I think when he was 12, he wrote Diana. And he is one of the most driven and dedicated people. You will never find anyone that works harder than either of my bosses. But Paul, he knew what he wanted, and he had the package. He put it together. He understood really early on what it was to appeal to your audience. He had a good read for that, and he still does. He knows exactly how to work the audience. And he started touring with a group like Annette Funicello, and they would pile in these buses and go all over the country and, go to these radio shows that they used to do back then. And then everybody would, Buddy Holly was on it, and they would sing a couple songs and then get on the bus and go to the next one and, work their way around the country. So, he was definitely, I would say, comparing now, we don't really have any pop stars like that. Maybe Justin Timberlake would be the closest, that level of dedication and talent to the craft.
What was his connection to Frank? He wrote something for Frank. I know he did something big for Frank.
He wrote a couple things for Frank. He wrote the lyrics to My Way. That little song. Just a little ditty. Yeah. He wrote the lyrics to My Way, and he also wrote another hit for Frank, Let Me Try Again, when he came back. He left show business for a while, and then he came back, and he premiered it at Madison Square Garden. But he was working with, he was super young. He was probably like 21 when he started working with the Rat Pack in Vegas. So he wrote for Sammy Davis Jr. He's...
I read different books, and I think it was a Dean Martin book I read when I was locked up. And he was like the type of guy, like Dean described him like he would say little things to you that would change everything. Mm-hmm. Like, dog, don't wear from now on shiny shoes, or say this at the end of this song, or like he just knew how to tweak things to make them fucking perfect. Like everybody took his advice, from Frank to Michael Jackson.
Oh yeah,
to fucking everybody was with Paul Anka. Like, hey, Paul Anka had a hook in everybody in some way or another. If you knew anything about music, you just wanted him to just watch you one time and go, maybe you should do this.
Yeah.
Maybe you should look this way instead of that one. You're like, what? And all of a sudden you're like, oh my God. Like, that's the impression I get of Paul helped everybody.
Yeah, he is very observant.
Like something with John Lennon? Was it something with John? Somebody, like a fucking crazy guy, was quoting Paul Anka once. And I was like, this is crazy. Like Jimmy Page. I don't know who it was. Some rock star. Maybe Elvis?
Yeah, probably Elvis.
Elvis.
Yeah.
Elvis.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So was he a songwriter or what?
He will... PA, we call him PA from the band. PA was he's a songwriter, he's a performer, he's everything. He does everything.
He could sing.
He can sing. His voice now is it's amazing. It's really amazing. You guys got to come to a show.
So for the last 16 years, they just had a thing about Fredo on last week. Mm-hmm. Remember Fredo called Cuomo?
Yeah.
But regardless of this, I don't know if you know this about the guy who played Fredo. He did 5 movies. Everything he played in won an Academy Award.
Oh, wow.
Deer Hunter, Godfather 2, Godfather 1.
Wow.
Like all 5 of his movies. If you look him up, whoever played Fredo, that dude, they did a documentary on him. Oh, Dog Day Afternoon.
Oh, yeah.
He played the whatever when he asked him, where do you want to go when we steal the bank, when we rob the bank? They did a documentary on him. Everything he touched turned to fucking gold. He did 5 movies that were fucking like Academy Award winners or some shit, you know. So like De Niro was his buddy.
Yeah.
Pacino was his buddy.
His name was John Cazale.
John Casale.
Let's see if I can find out what he did here. Oh my god. He did a couple of TV things, but then The Godfather, The Conversation, The Godfather Part 2, Dog Day Afternoon, and The Deer Hunter.
Yeah.
Wow.
He won 5. Like,
That's quite a
like,
resume
that's it.
there.
Like, that's all he did. He had a
Yeah.
knack for that. But my point is, how does it feel to be around two greats? Like the education you're getting.
Oh, it's amazing.
Remember Sonny in fucking Bronx Tale? He's like, you're getting the street education and you're getting the book education.
Yeah.
You are getting an education that most people can't even fathom.
Yeah, and I'm very glad that I realized that right away. You know, because sometimes you get a gig and you're like, oh, this is cool, and it's more than cool. You know, playing for these guys is more than cool. I've learned so much about not just music, but about how to be, how to act on stage, how to present yourself, you know, how to work an audience. You know, working a crowd is an art. I mean, you know, you do it all the time, and it's an art. And sometimes you get an audience that we call them the too rich to clap. You know, and you know, they'll do a benefit or something, and they're just like sitting there and drinking their wine, and you hear the forks clinking on the plates, and they're like, oh, that's so great. You know, we had the Beach Boys here last week. This is so cool. And, you know, they pay for these big performers to come in, but they do it so often, it's like nothing. But Paul Anka can take that audience and have them on their feet in 3 minutes.
How does he do it?
He works this magic. He runs through the crowd. He involves them he'll, you know, start singing, "Stay with me," and then put the mic to somebody's mouth and they'll be like, Diana. So it's interactive. You know, the whole show is meticulously put together. You know, the energy levels at certain places, and he's off the cuff. Like, he's really funny. So people will yell things. You know, a lady the other day, she was like, I love you, Paul. He's like, I'll see you backstage after the show. You know? So I think people, when they come to the Anka show, they feel like they're in their own living room. Sometimes they heckle a little too much. They get really into it. But
like in Vegas?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like we did a show it was in Santiago, Chile, and it was in this giant arena, and he hadn't been to South America in quite some time, and packed, and he runs through the audience at the beginning of the show, and we underestimated how excited this audience was. He told me this story after the show. There was this woman who was so excited in front of him, and you know the general age of the people who know who Paul Anka is, but you know, she was so excited. She was standing in front of him, and she started to say something, and her teeth fell out. It just fell out right in front of PA, and he was just standing there. He's like, I didn't know what to do. There was just teeth on the floor. I'm not going to pick them up.
What's the average age of those shows? 50 to 70.
Yeah, I would say 50 to 70. With Burt, it's kind of, it varies. It also varies country to country. You know, with Burt, he's huge everywhere, and so is Anka, but I think that in England and the UK especially, like, there's such an incredible fan base for Burt there. I mean, we just got back from there, and the audience sings louder than we play. You know? But it varies. There's kids that love Anka, and they send me Instagram videos of them singing
Having My Baby.
Yeah.
Now, did he sing that or he wrote that?
Both.
He sang that.
Yeah.
What did he sing? That was like the big, how I got to know Anka. I had to be like 9 or 10.
I sing that with him in the show now.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
You sing too?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
Does he still do that live?
We aren't doing, well, Right now we're doing a Anka Sings Sinatra show that's a little bit different than our regular show, but in the regular show we do it. And if somebody yells out "having my baby," he'll do a little bit of it, you know.
No shit.
Yeah. Sometimes the audience will say "having my baby." He'll be like, "I hope not."
You know, it's so weird how at one point in comedy, for you to get stronger as a comic or as a violinist or as a performer, let's use the word performer.
Yeah.
You have to watch everything. Like, I tell people all the time, when I'm on stage, in the back of my mind, it's Pryor, it's Robert Plant. Mm-hmm. I love his body movements on stage. He underlined his words with his body.
Yeah.
On stage. When you watch Robert Plant, he underlines his words with his body. Rod Stewart, I love live.
Yeah.
You know, Mick Jagger. You know.
Oh, amazing.
There's certain people that you have to watch. You know, when I watch you did a video the other day of Elton John, like a tribute.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just all these people moving, and, you know, I watch all that. That's what makes a performer. Yeah, I'm a comedian, but that means I could go on stage and just tell jokes. That's going to take me so far.
Right.
The next phase of that is becoming a performer and learning how to use your body to control the audience.
Yes,
all
exactly.
that goes into it, you know. I love watching Leonard Skinner live from Oakland, 1977. How that little chubby dude controls the audience with his body. All this goes. I tell people all this. I'm B.B. King live in Africa. Jesus, he's there.
Yeah.
Like, he's saying the words and he's there. Like, he's telling this bitch it's over. What's that song he sings? The really good B.B. King. The thrill is gone.
The thrill is gone.
Oh! Watch it live from Africa. In front of him is that woman. And he's telling her, like, it's fucking over. Then he hits the guitar. I'm throwing you out, bitch. And he hits the guitar again. As to become a good performer, you have to study all those guys.
You do.
And even like Anka. Anka dresses nice. Mm-hmm. You know? And he comes on. It's like he's on roller skates, but you don't see him.
Right.
Like, it's really smooth.
It's smooth, yeah.
He's smooth. So when I watched Anka, I'm like, look at Sinatra.
Yeah.
Even Sinatra at the end with the twisted wig and the fucking the teleprompter when he was still fucking up the words. Sinatra was such a Sinatra. Yeah. At the end, they had a teleprompter, and he'd be singing My Way, like, let's do "Fly Me to the Moon" with My Way lyrics. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God.
It's interesting that you said that, because we had Bruce Buffer in here, and he's not a musician. He's the voice of the UFC, and he did his announcing, and I was sitting next to him, and it honestly felt like a bomb went off. Like, I could, like, just the energy that came off of him.
Yeah.
So, like you were saying, like, the energy, like, with a orchestra. Like, do you feel that when you're in the middle of it? Like, like, it's kind of like vibrating. Like, it was kind of crazy.
Yeah, you feel it, and you're completely surrounded by it, you know, and it's really special. And I think that's the mark of any really good performer, when they're in the moment. Like, the energy is palpable, you know, when you're really going for it and drawing the audience, and the audience also gives you energy.
The audience gives
you know, it's a two-way street. You can't, if you have a dead audience that won't react to anything, then it drains you, because you're working and you're trying to drag it out of them. And yeah, but when you have that audience that just is really excited to be there, and, you know, knows the songs, and they sing along. One thing that I would love on my bucket list is to have the experience that Burt had when we were in England and the audience was singing along. Just the look on his face, the joy, knowing that, not expecting anything when you walk out onto the stage, but then realizing that you have impacted all of these people's lives. Like, that person over there got married to your song. That person over there named their baby after your song. And then having everyone sing along and that exchange of energy, that was probably one of the most incredible moments. You know,
That's the level that you want to get to.
I would love to have one song. I'm not saying I have to write 1,000 songs because, you know, I'm not Burt Bacharach, but I would love to have one song and just have that experience. I think that would be incredible.
That they would sing that song together with you.
Yeah.
I would hate to do it as a comic. You know what I'm saying? That means you're not writing material.
Right.
But as like, you know, when you go see Stairway to Heaven, it's like an anthem.
Yeah.
That would be amazing to have an anthem in your career. Like, for Paul, how many fucking anthems has Paul had?
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ.
So many.
Jesus
so
Christ.
many.
I'm trying to think of somebody else. Like, I read a bunch of books when I was locked up, and I kept hearing his name, and I knew him as, like, it's like, you know, when I was growing up, there was this weird vibe of from 70 to 73, we had great music, but there was this undercurrent. There was Leo Sayer. Remember Leo Sayer? And I don't want to go home. Yeah. You had the Captain and Tennille. You had that genre, and that's about the time. I think Paul came out with Having My Baby, maybe 73.
Yeah, I think it was around there.
Around there. And that's what I knew about Paul Anka. And I was a young kid, but Having My Baby, fucking pretty cool. I can't, you know, like, it was just a song that caught on. And now, like, you know, I read that he helped Michael Jackson. There was somebody else he worked with that blew my fucking mind.
He's worked with Bublé. He helped start Michael Bublé's career.
Michael Bublé, and there was somebody else. Like, he's just little, but we were getting back to Burt Bacharach that you were saying, people singing his songs. It's 60 to 70 years of experience.
Yeah.
You can't take that away.
No,
You can't take that away from people.
No.
You can't. That's why now, like, at the 18-year mark of comedy, I had doubts. I still have doubts. But I'm in the 20s. Like, when I have doubts now, I go, Joey, you've been doing this for 20 years. Get your pussy ass together and get down to the Comedy Store and get on stage. You're fucking tired. You fucking pussy. Because I don't have material. Well, 28 years, you don't have fucking material? You don't have nothing to say after 28 fucking years. Get in that shower, wash your pussy, and get in that car and get out of Laurel Canyon. You know, I have to say that to myself sometimes.
Yeah.
But that experience you can't take away. I'm very proud that I slept on Greyhound buses because now I see it.
Right.
I see it when I'm on stage. I see it when I turn and when I do certain things. Like, oh, I remember doing this in Charlotte that night. I was eating a bag of dicks in front of that black audience. You know, it all comes back to you. So that's something that you're having a shortcut. You're in a beautiful position. You're in a beautiful position to have that hit, if you really think about it, because you have all the tools around you.
Yeah.
You have the right guidance. You could go to PA and go, PA, I'm thinking of a song I want to write, you know.
Yeah.
Having a baby's daddy.
Having a baby's daddy.
Having a baby's daddy. What a lovely way to say how much you hate me. Having a baby's daddy. You know, and you could have the support. So if this was the time for you to do it, what a great thing. Like, just to write a song and give it to somebody. Like, one of the greatest stories I ever heard was that Elton John called John Lennon and said, "What the fuck? You wrote Fame for David Bowie?" And he goes, "Yeah, what's the problem?" He goes, What am I? Chopped liver? John Lennon goes, "Give me a couple days, bitch." And he called him back with Benny and the Jets.
Wow.
That's to me, is cool. Better than having your own hit. Like, hold on, give me a couple days.
Yeah.
Here's Benny and the fucking Jets for you. Get the fuck out of here with those fucking faggy glasses on and shit. Before I smack you. Before I have Yoko karate chop you. But I love that
But that's
shit.
A big honor, too.
That is a huge fucking honor.
To have your peer at that level write a song for you, specifically for you, thinking of you, like, it's not just a song that's gonna be like shopped around and then go to, you know, maybe a country artist will cover it at some point. You know, it's a song that was written specifically for him. And that's it. That's a huge honor.
Give me 1 minute. And now for a word from our sponsor, The Church of What's Happening Now is sponsored by Policy Genius. These days, a lot of jobs offer some pretty nice perks. Snacks, 15 flavors of soda water, even life insurance. But while it's nice to have those perks, you can't feed your family with flavored water and trail mix. Uncle Joey's here to tell you, neither is your workplace life insurance. That's why this Policy Genius comes in. Policy Genius is the easy way to shop for insurance online. Just go to policygenius.com. In minutes, you can compare quotes from the top insurers so you can get the right amount of coverage at the best possible price. So remember, workplace life insurance policies are like workplace snacks. Better than nothing, but not quite enough. Head to policygenius.com today and find out how to supplement your workplace life insurance and better protect your family. Policy Genius. Get your insurance today at policygenius.com and tell them Uncle Joey sent you. Sorry about that. Let's get this party started now. What I was going to ask you was, like, I can't even imagine being there. It would be like being around John Mulaney and Dave Chappelle. Either or week. Like 1 week I'm opening for John Mulaney and looking at that perspective of it.
Yeah. And
the other week I'm opening up. It had to be somebody who was even longer in the game than Dave Chappelle. Like somebody who's in the game. Dom Herrera, 40 years, out of Philly. Just, it's not even, it's looking how they walk, looking how they talk, looking how they go on stage. Wow, they shine their shoes before they go on stage. Isn't that interesting? Yeah. Paul Anka does a workout.
Yeah.
Before he goes on stage, The
ritual.
The ritual. You learn the rituals of different people, and then you compare them and you come up with your own ritual, Your eyes must be, you could tell stories that nobody's even comprehends.
Oh, yeah. It's something that you learn just by being around them, but you really do have to pay attention. You can't get all swept up in the, it's cool to be on tour. Now, you know what? Sometimes you learn the most when you're sitting next to someone at dinner and they're just talking about, okay, well, I think, what do you think about this part of the show? Should we tweak it for this? What's this audience like? And the questions that they ask the band, to find out how we think as well, because I think that as a unit, we all have played together for 6.5 years now in Anka's band. And we rehearse sometimes. We'll have a sound check, but we don't really rehearse. We don't have to.
You don't rehearse during the week? Like there's no Wednesday night somewhere?
No. Oh, there have been, I think, twice, maybe. But everybody's pro. Everybody knows the music. But PA is always trying to make the show better. Even when you're like, the show couldn't be better than this. How are you going to make it better than this? He's always trying to make it better.
We missed each other in Boston.
Yeah.
You were at Connecticut, and I was, and I couldn't get out early enough, and you couldn't get out early enough. So we couldn't make each other's shows.
Yeah.
But when you showed me the place, I was blown the fuck away.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, Anka's selling some numbers. Was that Anka or
That was Mohegan Sun, right?
That was Mohegan Sun.
Yeah, that was Mohegan. That was Anka, yeah.
I go, Anka's still fucking killing them.
Oh, yeah.
How much does Anka travel during the week? PA, during the year? How many weeks does he do?
We do, let's see. We do I think it averages out to about a week a month. Maybe 2 weeks a month throughout the year. It depends. It changes. We used to tour a little bit more than we do now. We did a month in Europe. We're going to probably do a month in Australia and New Zealand in the spring. And we've got, mostly it's weekend dates for now.
So when you go out with Mr. Bacharach, how many nights do you do in a week?
We usually we don't do more than 2 in a row.
Okay. Yeah. No, your body can't take it.
Yeah. It's we also travel with 3 singers. So it's pretty taxing. The show is difficult for everyone. It doesn't sound difficult because we make it sound easy. But I know the singers, there's a lot of pressure. You know, these songs are iconic.
How many
So
people all together in the band, Burt's band? Let's start with
Burt's band. So me on violin. Then we have 2 keyboard players who both also sing. And then bass, drums, Burt's on piano, 3 singers. Am I missing anyone? And then Burt's son Oliver plays with us as well on a couple tunes.
And then
And then we have a guy who does woodwinds, sax, flute, clarinet, and then a trumpet player.
so you got about 12 guys.
12,
people
yeah,
all together.
12.
And then what about Burt's orchestra?
Or Anka's orchestra?
Anka's.
Yeah. Anka's is way bigger.
Bigger, that's what I thought.
Yeah, because
That's what
we do a lot of big band stuff. And especially now because we're doing the Sinatra show. So we pick up horns in different cities. You know, we have the West Coast horns, and then we have the East Coast horns. But our lead trumpet player is always the same. So the touring band, the core band is guitar, bass, drums, percussion, me, synths, piano, and then our music director, John Cross, he does sax and clarinet. He's the woodwind guy. And then we have a trombone player, and usually we travel with 2 trumpet players, so that's 12. Did I count that right? I think. But we also add people. So like sometimes we'll have 4 trumpet players, 3 trombones, and, you know, extra.
So we're talking about 22 people.
Yeah, plus
about
we travel
22 people.
with Anka, we travel with a lot of crew.
This
So-
is why I've always had respect for bands. Like, when a band comes and goes, like, oh, this band is great, you have to leave. I always go, good, hit me on the next album.
Yeah.
Hit me on the 3rd album. And people get mad at me. Well, you're not giving them a chance because I've been down the street before. Mm-hmm. I respect Zeppelin because they had 9 albums.
Yeah.
I respect the Stones because they got 50 fucking albums.
Yeah.
And for anybody who knows, when I get on stage, I'm responsible for one person, my action. When they don't laugh, I sucked a bag of dicks. No 2 ways about it. It wasn't the audience. Not that they're old.
Yeah.
It wasn't they were falling asleep. It wasn't too late. They weren't tired. I ate the bag of dicks.
Right.
When you're in a band like that, all 22 people have to be having a good night.
Yep.
Like, that's always...
Yeah.
Like, everybody in the band has to smoke the same shit. Or we all got to do the same CBD oil.
Yeah.
We all have to be connected in some way. And that's what I really always take my hats off to bands.
Yeah.
You know, Aerosmith. You know, they were on heroin, fucking went to rehab, hated each other, and then made it work. The Eagles. But people just have no idea what it's like to travel. It's, you know, Guns N' Roses, a year.
Yeah.
Vince Neil and Motley Crue, a fucking year.
It's
You don't come home for a fucking year with 4 smelly fucks talking about the same shit every fucking day.
Yeah.
Rehearsing, eating pussy, doing heroin. It gets old. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're like, I can't wait to be in a band and get chlamydia and go out. But do it for 18 months and the record label's haunting you that they want new music and you're too busy snorting coke. And, you know, you have to, 5 people have to be in tune. And that's why you guys have, and forget about your world.
Yeah.
You know, when I used to go to the LA Phil for the jazz series, I'd look at and count 40 motherfuckers up on the stage.
Oh, yeah.
20 motherfuckers doing this. 20 motherfuckers doing this. All, you know, and you're like, oh my God, it's like watching synchronized swimming.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just a beautiful fucking thing. How do you feel when you're up there and you're a part of that?
It's amazing. There's nothing that I can really even compare it to except that to be when you know that your contribution is important to creating this beautiful piece of music. You know, without you, it wouldn't be the same. So you feel this sort of sense of ownership of it, even though it's not your own music. You know, you feel like, look, I have to be the best that I can be because the way I am is going to affect the person next to me. So I have whatever I'm feeling, if I'm tired, if I, am stressed out, whatever it is, that all has to go away. You have to be like, oh, maybe you just find out that your dog is dying before you go on stage. You have to ignore that. You can't bring that to the audience. The audience is there to have a good time, to see, a show, and your dog could be dying and no one should ever know. It's challenging, but it's so rewarding to me. And then when I'm off stage, then I'm like, okay, back to my dying dog kind of
Hiking,
thing,
the cat,
Yeah.
paying people to do your dishes.
Paying people to do my dishes.
What did you bring me? I know you brought me a little present that you...
I brought you something.
And that thing
to
looks
look
like
at.
it's been through fucking war.
It has. I have taped it back together.
This
is
God.
my music from Burt Bacharach show. Yeah.
Do you mind if I read this?
Yeah, sure.
So this is the UCLA set list?
The UCLA set list. Yeah, that was, I think, last year.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fuck.
But then, see where it says, like, record medley 1?
Right. Hush,
So-
Any Day Now, and Friends.
Record medley 1 is Don't Make Me Over, Walk On By, Reach Out For Me.
That's right.
This
You wrote
Guy's
for
in Love.
Dionne Warwick, too.
Yeah.
That's right.
This Guy's in Love, I Say a Little Prayer.
Now, who sang I Said a Little Prayer for You? Forever and ever.
I think it was Dion.
Dionne also?
Yeah, I think it was Dion, yeah.
So Burt wrote those for Dionne Warwick.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me he wrote Do You Know the Way to San Jose?
He did.
And I'll jump off this fucking table.
He did. He
Are
wrote Do You Know the Way to
serious?
San Jose? Yeah. And then we have Trains and
That
Boats
was the
and Planes.
oldest. That was the oldest joke when I got to LA.
Yeah.
Everybody was.
Oh,
doing
yeah,
that
everybody
joke
says that.
because he was working for the Psychic Center.
Oh, that's right.
Do you remember?
I remember
so in
those.
'97, every fucking joke had Dionne Warwick. Do you know the way to San Jose? But you're a fucking psychic now. So that was like everybody had a
Great.
similar. I forgot that he did all that writing for Dionne
Yeah.
Warwick.
And he wrote the one that I find that the youngest people, because I always say, people will say, oh, I don't know who Burt Bacharach is. Like I was talking to my Uber driver the other day and he asked me because I had my instrument and I was like, yeah, I play for Burt Bacharach. And he's like, I don't know who that is. And I was like, yes, you do. You know who that is. You know that song, Always Something There to Remind Me from the 80s? That's Burt Bacharach.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
It's bugging me. There's a movie where someone goes, "Come into the stage, Burt Bacharach," and I can't place it
Austin
right
Powers.
now. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And now introducing Mr. Burt Bacharach. And then
Okay.
he's on the bus.
Oh
Okay.
my God.
Yeah.
The name is so distinct. I was like, I know
Yeah.
I've heard it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
This is why I wanted you to come on, because I wanted to educate people on you. You're beautiful. What you do is tremendous. We're not even going to have a closing song. I wish you would play a little violin for us on the way out
Okay.
tonight. I think
Sure.
that would be appropriate. Fuck Tony Bennett. Listen to Tony Bennett. Let's listen to a little Eliza James.
Yeah.
James?
James, yeah.
Do you have, because you were talking about like people having to be in sync, but what about, I'm sure you must have an extra, but have you had like a violin break or something crazy like that? Stuff
yeah.
must
Do
have
chords
happened.
break? Do chords ever, like guitars?
Yeah. The strings definitely break. They I was in my college audition. Before I decided I was going to stay in California, I auditioned for Cleveland Institute of Music, and I think I like the sunshine better, so I stayed here. But I was in the middle of my audition, and the president of the university is sitting there, and classical auditions are very stressful, and people who judge them are very, very judgy. And, I was 17, I think. And I'm in the middle of this Bach piece, and my E string breaks right by the bridge, so close to my face, flips up, hits me in the nose, and my nose starts bleeding.
Oh my God.
And I'm just like, go to the other string. So I just go and start. And I try. I'm like trying to play this E major partita on way up here in the A string, and it's not really working. And the president of the university was like, it's okay, you can stop. Don't bleed on your instrument.
Holy.
But yeah, I was out with Burt. We were in Australia, and traveling with instruments on airlines is
Don't get me
it's
started.
horrible. And I had actually a bigger violin case than I do now, and so every time I would get in line, oh, that doesn't fit me overhead. Oh, that doesn't. I'm like, do you know how many flights this has been on? Like, I got it to Australia somehow, so clearly it fits in some overhead.
Not that one.
It was a different case.
Okay.
So it was Qantas, and they were just, sometimes flight attendants are having a really bad day and they just want to make it your bad day. And the guy, he was like, you can't bring that on. You have too many things. I had a suitcase and a violin. That's it. And so he makes me check the suitcase and then takes my laptop. And they won't let me hold the laptop in my lap while we take off. And they're like, you have to put that in the overhead. So my laptop's bouncing around in the overhead. I'm like, great, this is starting off well. And I said, don't put it on my violin case. What do? They put it right on top of my violin case. It bounces during takeoff, snaps my bridge in half. And I had a panic attack. Like when I got to the hotel, I opened the case and the bridge was snapped in half. It could have cracked the entire instrument and ruined the instrument. My instrument, his name is Jacques. And he's almost 100 years old.
Wow.
And you can't, it's irreplaceable. You can't just make another one. And so that was pretty awful. I would say that's the worst. That's the worst disaster I've ever had.
How many violins do you have?
I have Jacques over here, and I'm endorsed by a company called NS Design, and they make these really cool electric violins. My string quartet 405, we're all endorsed by them.
That's who I saw yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the Elton John video.
On your Twitter page. Yes.
Yeah. We have a lot of fun.
That was great.
We're doing another one. We're doing a music video.
27th though, right?
Yeah.
27th.
We just got our former violist Lila, she moved to Nashville to work on some projects there. So we got a new violist. Her name's Jaina Chow, and she's amazing. And we're doing a tribute to Paul Anka. She wrote an arrangement, and we're gonna have a backyard party and shoot a music video.
Now I gotta ask you something. I don't seem to be off color here. Why did I see so many Asian violinists for so long, and then I saw your beautiful face?
Well, I think that it comes from.
Is it big in Asia, the violin?
Yeah, it's huge, and I think that a lot of Asian cultures are very disciplined. There's a method called the Suzuki Method, which I learned when I was a kid. It's for actually your daughter may have. I don't know. Do you know what she was?
It was a cardboard.
Doing? Yeah, because that's something that Suzuki
does.
That's
how it starts.
Yeah. Did she play that?
Yes.
Mississippi Hot Dog.
Yeah.
That's what we called it. But yeah, that's Suzuki Method. And that was started during World War II by a guy, Dr. Suzuki, in Japan. And he was the first person to make child-sized violins. Because up until then, you couldn't really play music as a child. The violin there wasn't really smaller ones. So he started a factory that would produce child-sized violins. And so it came from Japan and then just spread. But it was funny. I remember as a kid, I was in a group class, and all of the students were Asian except for me. And so I went home and I asked my mom, like a 5-year-old, I was like, Mommy, can I change my last name to Chang? And she was like, what? And I said, yeah, I think it'll make me play better. If my last name is Chang, I think I'll play violin better. So, I think the parents are super involved with their kids. They come to all the lessons. It's a method. It's a way of learning instruments. And it's not just violin, it's violin, cello, viola. They have a Suzuki piano, but it's not done as often. There's harp. I think there's even guitar, flute. But it's a really good method for kids to learn.
What's the difference between a viola and a violin?
A viola is like, in a choir, you have the soprano, alto, tenor, bass.
Yes.
Like sopranos are the highest voice.
Right.
So that's the violin voice. The alto voice is the viola voice. And then you have the tenor, which is cello, and then bass, which is upright bass. So it's the range of the instrument, and the instrument itself is bigger. So because it has lower strings. So the body of it has to be bigger in order to make the vibrations.
I was having a good time till you brought out this music. Now I got depressed because I always wish I learned how to read music. This was my first passion.
Yeah.
And because I was a loser, I quit. And I became a comic because I knew that I would pawn my guitar with my drug problem. And looking at this music makes me so fucking depressed right now. I want to shoot myself. Because I want to go to Guitar Center and buy a guitar. And
Do
stuff.
it.
But I can't because I have an addictive personality. And if I started playing the guitar, I'd be in this office from 9 in the morning till 12, listening to Pink Floyd's Dogs, learning how to do the guitar solo to Dogs. And I would leave my wife, I'd forget about my kid, because I know I have that passion for it. So it's all like my cousins in Cuba. They're the national band of Cuba.
Oh, wow.
My cousin's Emmy Alfonso and her whole band. Like,
oh, my gosh.
the whole family's playing
great.
congas and violins and the whole fucking thing. So, this is what's in my DNA.
Yeah.
I just was too much of a pussy to go for it. I knew that, I started with the bass and then I quit. And then I figured I'd get into the guitar later on. And just as I was getting close, I had a drug problem. I go, you know what? I'm not that stupid. If I pay $300 for a guitar, every time I fiend, I'm going to pawn the guitar. This guitar is going to be in and out of pawn shops. So I never really had a chance to really get involved. And so you go the slow route, you become a comedian because you don't even need a microphone. All you need is a wall and 3 idiots to listen to, So.
Well, you could always learn violin and with your daughter. You could always do
let's
that.
see if she wants. I'm going to talk to her today.
Talk to her.
I'm going to talk to her tonight and see where we stand with the violin or any other.
Yeah, because you know what? I find that with kids, like the most important job that you have as a teacher is to inspire. That's what you're there for. You're teaching them things. This is how you play this. But the most important thing is to inspire them to then go and teach themselves. I always think that if the student is better than the teacher, then you've succeeded. So, it could be, and the Suzuki Method, when I used to teach a lot before I started touring, and I would have parents up to a certain age, like if they were 13 years old, they didn't have to have a parent in the lesson. But, it's really helpful, parents writing down notes, interacting. Some parents they'd rent a violin and they'd learn alongside their kid. And when the kid sees mom or dad's doing it, oh, it's cool now. Now I'm not just alone in a room by myself trying to learn music. When I was little, my dad would come home from work and I'd put on concerts. We'd have dinner concerts, So I think if you involve the whole process of learning, if your kid sees that you're doing it, it's going to inspire them too. So a word of encouragement.
I can't see myself doing Tchaikovsky right now at this fucking age. Whatever that is. But I love it.
Yeah.
I love the power of it. Like I've always loved the power. Like I just went to see something. I took them to see something. Oh, when we went to Radio City. We went to see the Christmas show.
Oh,
and
nice.
the band came up and I was like, Jesus Christ. The fucking energy. That's what I want to ask you real quick. For comedy, when you're in a theater, when you're in a comedy club, it's a game of ping pong. But when you're in a theater, the energy flow in a theater for a comedian is two senior citizens playing tennis. I hit the ball bounces, the energy goes up into the rafters. They receive the energy, and the laughter comes back at you. So it's a ping pong of energy. In a smaller room, it's a ping pong.
Yeah.
in a 1,200 seat theater, it's tennis. How does it feel as a musician in a big? Is that the same energy you're receiving?
It is, in a way, yeah. It's you, especially when you can't see the audience.
I love that.
Yeah.
You don't like seeing them either?
It depends. It's kind of funny. When I'm out with Anka or Burt and I know that I have like family or friends in the audience, I like to see them because I'm excited.
I don't want to see them.
But if I'm playing, if I'm doing like a classical solo and I have any amount of nervousness, I don't even want to know that you're there. If I know you, I don't want to know that you're there. Don't make me, it's easier for me to play for strangers. But when I can see, we can usually see like the first couple rows.
Right. I don't mind seeing I gotta see the first 2 rows.
And now something that's really gets kind of frustrating is, and I don't mind it. Anka doesn't mind when people take video or photos during the show. But sometimes, I don't know if you've had this happen. What is with the iPads? Why are you bringing your giant freaking computer-sized iPad to a show on full brightness and holding it up over your head, videoing? I don't understand it because I can see from the stage that the person in the third to last row of this 1,200 seat theater is FaceTiming someone. I can see the face of the person on the iPad because of the way that it's lit up. And
they're so cheap that they...
Me, I'm to the point
that is distracting.
I'm to the point where there's a bunch of comedians that are putting phones away because they say phones are distracting and and it might ring. And it's certain comics to be cool and other guys have jumped on the bandwagon.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of doing it because I'm sick and tired of going online every night and seeing, the Stones are playing Thursday. Wake up Friday morning, there's 1,000 videos of the Stones.
Yeah.
Why
and
are
crappy
you taking
videos
video?
too.
Why aren't you living your fucking life?
Yeah.
Why do you have a camera out taping a fucking concert? Why aren't you enjoying it? Why aren't you focusing on the bass player for 5 minutes?
Yeah.
And then focusing on Charlie Watts. And then focusing on what Keith Richards is doing. And then focusing on the audience.
Yeah.
That's all I see at these fucking places.
Yeah.
I want them to ban the phones so people can enjoy the experience.
Yeah.
Put the fucking phone away. Enjoy the experience. Or they put it up like lighters, like assholes. What happened to the 70s when you burned your finger? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You fucking
totally
took a Bic lighter and you lit it. You think I ever... Do I look like I went to 100 concerts. I've never taken a fucking lighter out of my hands. And I've never done this shit at a fucking concert. That's for pure faggotry. This shit here, when they can do this shit, and they think they're having a good time, that drives me fucking crazy. Drives me to the last war. If you pay $300 to go see the Stones, or $200 to go see Burt Bacharach, or fucking Paul Anka, or Eliza James, do me a favor. Keep your phone in your pocket for vibrate. I know you got family.
Yeah.
I know you have a sick dad. But besides that, guess what? I don't want to see your shitty tape of them.
Yeah.
And then you show me that you were cheap enough to sit all the way up in the Martian seats.
And
Put the fucking phone away.
The artist is
so many people last week put up Mick Jagger from Newark. You're fucking embarrassing.
Yeah.
You're a fucking embarrassment. Put the fucking phone away and enjoy the event for what it is. That's why I don't want phones anymore. Because people are not enjoying. Let me take a picture. Put the fucking thing down.
Yeah. I think Anka does a really good job of that. Like, I think that sometimes people get carried away, but he has a whole part of the show where he runs through the audience and he'll take pictures with people, and then that part of the show is done, and now you can focus on everything else and the music. But they get their photo with him. They get their little video, and he's super cool about it. But it's the iPad thing really kind of irks me. It's like a phone is one thing. When you have like a giant screen, it's like, why would you do that? Anyway, who's carrying around a giant iPad screen to a concert?
So I'm going to read this last ad. Do you mind taking out the violin and closing out the show a little?
I can do that.
Syatt, where can they find you? I want them to follow you on Twitter because it's an experience. If you're not following Eliza James on Twitter, you're fucking up.
Oh my
It's
God.
a learning experience. One night she's in Connecticut. One night she's jumping up and down with Polacks. She's making it happen. You know what I'm saying? She's everywhere, and I admire that from you.
Oh, thank you.
And you have love for comedy, like you're friends
I
with Ronell
do.
Williams.
I've been friends with Donnell.
Ronell.
I've been friends with Donnell for like over 10 years. Long
And you're
time.
a comedy fan. Like
I'm a huge comedy fan.
Lines and shit.
Yeah, I love comedy. Comedy for me is a way to unwind after a show because I can't. If I watch something that has music in it, my brain doesn't shut off. So for me, relaxation is comedy. And I laugh and I go to sleep and I'm happy. And
You came to the comedy store one night. I gave you one quick hug and I was out. Like,
Yeah.
You were like, I gotta go. Bang. And I said, I gotta get her on because the experience I get from just following you on Twitter.
I'll make bitching about airlines.
Bitching about airlines, just the pictures.
Traffic.
Just you put a picture up about 2 months ago with you and Burt Bacharach.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is so fucking cool.
I love him. I really do.
I know. I could tell. I could tell that you have been. I hate saying this word because you sound so cliche, like all these other fucking jerk offs. But God has watched over you. You owe him big because you're getting an education that most people fucking. You can't even pay for that.
Right.
If you paid to go to Yale, you can't get the education you're getting right now. That is. And that's what most people don't understand in life, that you appreciate the education you get. You
I
want
do.
the world's best. They're as good as it gets,
Yeah.
those two fucking guys. So
Yeah.
you're very lucky. And anytime you're in town, I know you live close by.
Yeah.
You're always welcome to stop by and
All right.
fucking play the violin, do whatever you want. Let me read this.
All right. I'm going to get my violin out here.
Let's do this shit. All right, like I said in the beginning of the show is brought to you by On It, as usual, my favorite. The supplements are tremendous. They just sent me a tremendous box. I made a beautiful chocolate shake this morning with ice cubes and some water. Oh, tremendous. The cocoa, whatever the fuck it is. I love On It. I love the Alpha Brain. I love the Shroom Tech Immune, the Shroom Tech Sport. And listen, for little snacks, forget about it. From now on, you just get those coconut almond chocolate, 7 grams of protein, 3 grams of carbs and 1 gram of sugar or something. Fucking tremendous. Go to onit.com right now. Look at the great selection they have of supplements. I can't help you out with the kettlebells, the club bats, but the supplements, I'll get you 10% off across the board. Go to Onit right now and at checkout, press in
Church.
CHURCH and get 10% off. And also remember, listen, these days a lot of jobs offer pretty nice perks, but they offer you insurance that's kind of half malukia. Go to policygenius.com right now. In minutes, you can compare quotes from top insurers. You get the right amount of coverage at the best possible price. And Policy Genius doesn't just make life insurance easy. They could also help you find the right home insurance, auto insurance, and disability insurance. You guys, you know how hard it is to get insurance. You know how much of a pain in the ass. It's over. Uncle Joey's here to sift right through that. Go to policygenius.com right now. Policygenius.com right now and find out how to supplement your workplace life insurance and better protect your family. Listen, I watched The Mule last night. It's family first, work second. Remember, head to policygenius.com today and find out how to supplement that life insurance. Plus, get your life insurance today at policygenius.com and tell them Uncle Joey sent you. So I want to give a shout out to policygenius.com and On It. Don't forget, there's only 1 ticket left for the Ice House on the 31st, February 13th in Dallas. And, no, February 13th. Why do I keep saying February fucking 13th for? September 13th in Dallas and September 27th at Chicago Theater. I'll see you motherfuckers there. Have a great weekend. I want to thank Eliza James.
Thank you for
Kick it,
having
Eliza.
me.
Kick this motherfucking mule. Fucking beautiful. I love you guys. She made me tear up. That's real
thanks for
talent.
having me.
I'm just a fat fucking felon that cracks jokes. That's real fucking talent. I'll see you guys Monday morning. Ready to rock. Have a great weekend.